The Thousand Sunny drifted lazily across the Grand Line, a gentle breeze ruffling its sails. It was a typical afternoon on the Straw Hat Pirates ship, which meant chaos, contentment, and a healthy dose of the absurd. Luffy, perched precariously on the masthead, was attempting to fish for a sea king with a piece of stale bread, convinced it was the ultimate bait. Below, Sanji, humming a jaunty tune, was meticulously slicing iridescent fish for dinner, occasionally glancing towards Nami, who was basking in the sun, carefully charting a course on her expansive map, occasionally swatting away Brook, who was attempting to serenade her with a truly awful love ballad. Nami Swan. Robin Chwan. Dinner will be ready soon, my goddesses. Sanji crooned, a flurry of hearts erupting around him as he danced across the deck. Oi, Sanji. Make sure there's extra meat. Luffy yelled down, nearly tumbling from his perch. You've had enough, you bottomless pit. Nami retorted, not even opening an eye, already anticipating the inevitable raid on the kitchen. Usopp was in his workshop, tinkering with a new pop-green concoction, occasionally peeking out nervously at the vast, blue expanse. Chopper, meanwhile, was diligently reading a medical textbook, occasionally looking up to observe a passing flock of seabirds with scientific curiosity. Frankie was polishing his cyborg parts with a proud grin, occasionally letting out a as Zoro snored peacefully beside him. Leaning against the main mast, a single sword clutched loosely in his hand. Jinbe, ever the stoic and wise helmsman, simply smiled, a quiet observer of the lively crew he had come to call family. The tranquility was suddenly broken by a soft thud. Robin, who had been quietly reading a rare archaeological text near the ship's library, looked up. A small, barnacle-encrusted wooden box, no bigger than her palm, had somehow floated onto the deck, carried by a stray current. It seemed incredibly ancient, almost as if it had been lost for centuries. Curiosity piqued, Robin picked it up. It wasn't heavy but felt remarkably solid, the wood almost petrified. There was no visible lock, but a faint, intricate carving adorned its top, a swirling pattern that seemed to mimic ocean currents and ethereal light. As her fingers traced the lines, the carving began to glow with a soft, cerulean light. Oh! Robin murmured, her eyes widening slightly. The light intensified, casting a mesmerizing glow across her face. Luffy, surprisingly, was the first to notice. What's that, Robin? He called, dropping his fishing line in his excitement. The box hummed, and then with an almost imperceptible click, it opened. Inside, nestled on a bed of what looked like solidified, glowing seafoam, was not treasure or gold, but a single, perfectly spherical orb. It was about the size of a pigeon's egg, crafted from a material that seemed to capture and refract the very light of the ocean itself, constantly shifting hues of deep blue, emerald green, and pearlescent white. As Robin reached for the orb, it pulsed. Suddenly, a beam of concentrated light shot out from it, projecting a holographic image onto the Sunny's deck. It was a map, but unlike any Nami had ever seen. It wasn't of islands or sea routes, but of an intricate, glowing network of subterranean tunnels, vast underwater caverns, and deep-sea trenches culminating in a magnificent, impossibly luminous city hidden deep beneath the waves. Whoa! Usopp gasped, peering over Robin's shoulder, his earlier nervousness replaced by awe. What is that? It appears to be a projection of an ancient, submerged city, Robin said, her voice laced with a rare mix of wonder and excitement. The legends speak of such a place. A lost civilization of unparalleled beauty and knowledge. Atlantis. Nami's head snapped up. Atlantis? She shrieked, scrambling over, forgetting all about her sunbath. You mean the fabled city of gold and jewels? Her eyes had turned into berry symbols. Not just gold, Nami-san, Sanji declared, spinning elegantly. Imagine the exotic, unheard-of ingredients. Bioluminescent kelp. Deep-sea truffles. My culinary senses are tingling. New diseases. Rare organisms. What kind of creatures live down there? Chopper exclaimed, his tiny reindeer nose twitching with scientific curiosity. Frankie stomped forward, his metallic hand thudding on the deck. A super-ancient city. What kind of technology did they have? Can the Sunny dive that deep? This is SUUUUPR exciting. Luffy, eyes wide with pure, unadulterated excitement, punched the air. Atlantis. An underwater adventure. Let's go. Zoro, who had miraculously woken up, merely grunted, stretching. As long as it's not on the Grand Line and I don't have to navigate. That's literally the whole point of the Grand Line, Marimo, Sanji snickered. Jinbe placed a large hand on Robin's shoulder. The legends of Atlantis are whispered even among the fishmen. Nico Robin. A place of deep magic and ancient secrets said to be unreachable by ordinary means. If this orb truly points the way, it is a discovery of immense significance. The map is incomplete, Robin noted, tracing the holographic lines with a delicate finger. It shows a specific point on the Grand Line, a convergence of unique currents, which it calls the threshold of whispers. Beyond that, the path is obscured, requiring a deeper understanding of the orb's properties. So we need to go there first, Luffy declared, already bouncing on his heels. Nami, how far is it? Nami, having composed herself and already pulled out her master chart, began calculating furiously. Her eyes, though still berry-shaped, now also held the gleam of an explorer. It's far, deep within a peculiar segment of the New World, past several treacherous current systems. But if it's Atlantis, it's worth it. Imagine the treasure. The historical artifacts. The next few days on the Thousand Sunny were a flurry of preparations, orchestrated by Frankie with a zealous and Nami's strict budget. The Sunny, already a marvel of shipbuilding, needed significant modifications for deep-sea exploration. Frankie, aided by Usopp's ingenious gadgetry ideas and Chopper's understanding of biological adaptations to pressure, reinforced the ship's hull with extra layers of atom wood, coating it with a special, pressure-resistant polymer. He installed heavy-duty ballast tanks, powerful, silent thrusters for vertical movement, and a series of high-intensity, bioluminescent lights designed to pierce the absolute darkness of the deep ocean. We'll need new observation domes, too. Frankie boomed, blueprints unrolling across the deck. Super reinforced glass. And a special air recycling system for extended underwater stays. Usopp, despite his usual cowardice, found himself swept up in the engineering challenge. He designed a sonar system capable of mapping complex underwater terrains and detecting even the most elusive deep-sea creatures. He also devised a new type of pop green that emitted concentrated, long-lasting light for exploration outside the ship. Chopper, ever the diligent doctor, researched the effects of immense pressure on the human body, concocting various elixirs to combat nitrogen narcosis and the bends. We'll need to monitor everyone's vitals constantly, he chirped, already preparing a detailed medical log. And I'll need samples of any new deep-sea organisms we find. For science. Sanji, meanwhile, was not just stocking ingredients but experimenting with pressure cooking techniques, creating new, nutrient-dense dishes that could sustain the crew in the cold, dark depths. The aroma of his experimental kelp stir-fries and deep-sea fish stews filled the air, a comforting constant amidst the mechanical whirring. Even Zoro contributed, albeit unintentionally, by providing a very large, very heavy weight that Frankie could use as an emergency anchor. He mostly just trained, occasionally glancing at the glowing orb as Robin studied it, as if preparing himself for whatever unseen dangers lurked below. Robin spent hours with the orb, learning to manipulate its holographic projections, revealing more intricate details of the submerged pathways. She discovered that the orb reacted to specific keys, not physical keys, but patterns of thought or vibrations, almost like a mental compass that would only guide them when they were truly ready. Nami, using Robin's newly revealed map sections, charted the treacherous journey to the threshold of whispers. It involved navigating through an uncharted segment of the calm belt, where gargantuan sea kings usually thrived, but which also contained immense, stable underwater currents perfect for descent. "All right, everyone," Nami called out one evening, pointing dramatically at the chart spread across the dining table. "This is it. The Grand Abyss. Our entry point to the deep." Luffy cheered. Usopp hailed. The journey to the threshold of whispers was an adventure in itself. The calm belt, usually a windless purgatory, was surprisingly manageable thanks to Frankie's powerful paddle wheels and Jinbe's expert navigation, weaving through slumbering sea kings larger than islands. As they approached the charted coordinates, the ocean began to change. The surface water, usually teeming with life, grew eerily still. The sky above seemed to darken prematurely, as if the very light of the sun was being pulled downwards. "Hold on tight, everyone," Nami yelled, gripping the helm as the Sunny began to list. The currents are getting stronger. A powerful downward pull seized the ship, It wasn't violent but insistent, like a gigantic hand gently but firmly drawing them into the abyss. Frankie activated the new ballast tanks, filling them with seawater, and the Sunny began its descent, slowly at first, then picking up speed. The light dimmed rapidly. Within minutes, the vibrant blue of the surface gave way to an oppressive twilight, then an inky blackness that seemed to swallow all hope of light. "It's so dark," Usopp whimpered, clutching Chopper. "Don't worry, Usopp," Frankie declared, stomping over to a console. "Activating deep-sea lights. Prepare for super illumination." With a satisfying whir and click, dozens of powerful, bioluminescent lamps mounted along the Sunny's hull flared to life. The darkness receded, revealing an alien world. Giant, ghostly jellyfish pulsed with internal light, drifting by like cosmic ships. Schools of fish, strangely transparent, darted through the beams. The pressure outside was immense, a silent, crushing force, but the Sunny's reinforced hull held firm. "The hull is holding up perfectly, Frankie," Chopper announced, checking the pressure gauges with a proud sniff. "And everyone's vitals are stable, thanks to my pressure pills." "Good job, Chopper." Luffy grinned, pressing his face against one of the reinforced glass domes, his eyes wide with wonder. "Look, it's like a whole other world." Sanji brought out steaming mugs of pressure-brewed coffee and plates of crispy, deep-fried kelp chips. "A little something to keep our spirits up in the depths." As they descended deeper, the temperature plummeted, but the Sunny's internal heating system kept the crew cozy. The air, recycled and filtered, felt fresh and clean. It was a strange contradiction, the cozy comfort inside, the terrifying unknown outside. Robin continued to consult the orb, its holographic map now showing a more detailed, yet still fragmented, path. "The orb indicates we must follow these luminescent veins," she explained, pointing to shimmering lines on the projection that mirrored actual bioluminescent currents outside the ship. "They are naturally occurring energy pathways, guiding us deeper into the true abyss." Nami, though stressed, was thrilled by the challenge. "It's like navigating through a living maze," she exclaimed, her compass spinning wildly, useless in this electromagnetically charged environment. "But with these lights and Robin's orb, we can do it." The luminescent veins were breathtaking. They were indeed like enormous, pulsing arteries of light composed of millions of microscopic, glowing organisms. Navigating through them required incredible precision. Sometimes the veins narrowed into claustrophobic tunnels, forcing Frankie to retract the Sunny's decorative parts. Other times, they opened into vast, silent caverns where unseen creatures, hinted at only by enormous shadows, glided through the periphery of their light beams. One particularly narrow passage proved challenging. The current was incredibly strong, threatening to push them off course. "It's like trying to thread a needle in a hurricane," Usopp yelled, gripping the railing. "Don't worry, Usopp-kun," Brook's voice echoed through the ship. "Even if we are crushed, at least we will be crushed together." "Yo-ho-ho-ho. That's not helping, Brook." "Luffy. Zoro. Sanji. We need manual adjustments on the thrusters," Frankie barked, pointing to emergency levers. "The automated system can't handle this. Use your strength." With a synchronized grunt, the monster trio leaped into action, manually pushing and pulling massive levers, their muscles straining against the immense pressure outside. Luffy stretched his arms, bracing against the walls, while Zoro and Sanji put their incredible physical strength to use, fine-tuning the Sunny's trajectory. "Just a little more," Nami urged, her eyes glued to the orb's map, guiding them. "We're almost through." With a final, collective push, the Sunny burst out of the narrow passage and into a colossal, open chamber. But this chamber was different. It wasn't just lit by bioluminescence. There were enormous, impossibly ancient structures looming in the distance, faintly glowing from within. Colossal archways, crumbling pillars, and what looked like the ruins of a submerged city, all bathed in an ethereal, soft, blue-green light. "Whoa," Luffy breathed, pressing his face against the glass. "It's incredible," Robin whispered, her hand instinctively touching the orb, which now glowed with a steady, strong light. "This isn't Atlantis yet. This is the vestibule of the ancients, a forgotten outpost, a gate to the true city." Just then, a faint, rhythmic humming began to resonate through the water, felt more than heard, vibrating through the Sunny's hull. It was a sound that seemed to call to them, a melody from a forgotten age. "What's that sound?" Chopper squeaked, clinging to Usopp. "It sounds like a song," Brook said, his empty eye sockets wide. "A very old, very sad song." From the depths of the chamber, an enormous shadow began to emerge. It was unlike any sea king they had ever encountered. It was sleek, serpentine, hundreds of meters long, its scales shimmering with a faint, internal light. It had large, intelligent eyes that glowed with an ancient wisdom, and it was moving directly towards them, drawn by the humming. "It's a guardian," Jinbi said, his voice grave. "A creature of the deep, said to protect the outer reaches of Atlantis. It will not allow passage easily." Luffy grinned, cracking his knuckles. "A guardian, huh? Then we just gotta convince it to let us pass." Nami slammed her fist on the console. "Luffy, we are 10,000 meters underwater. You can't just fight everything down here." But Luffy was already pushing open the door to the outside deck, protected by a specialized, pressure-resistant diving suit Frankie had cobbled together. Geomu no? "Wait, Luffy," Robin called out, her eyes fixed on the orb. "The orb is reacting to the Guardian. It's not hostile, not truly. It's assessing us. It's drawn to the orb and to the music." Brook, eyes wide, understood. "The song. It is calling to me. Yo-ho-ho-ho. It is a lament, a song of longing." He grabbed his violin. As the colossal guardian drew closer, its intelligent eyes fixed on the sunny, Brook began to play. His violin, usually so capable of lively tunes, now produced a haunting, ethereal melody that seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of the water, resonating with the guardian's own ancient hum. The creature paused, its enormous body hovering just meters from the ship, its gaze fixed on Brook. The orb in Robin's hand pulsed in rhythm with Brook's music, its holographic map suddenly expanding, revealing a grand, intricate entrance to Atlantis itself, hidden behind the Guardian. It was a massive, glowing portal disguised as a natural rock formation, only visible when certain conditions were met. "It's opening," Nami gasped, pointing. The Guardian, seemingly appeased or perhaps enchanted by Brook's soulful music, slowly began to shift its colossal body, revealing the entrance. The portal pulsed with a gentle light, beckoning them. "It worked!" Usopp cheered, tears streaming down his face. "Brook's music saved us. Yo-ho-ho-ho." A guardian of the deep, calmed by the power of music. "Even in the darkest abyss, a skull's song can bring light," Brook exclaimed, bowing dramatically. Luffy, still in his diving suit, grinned. "See, Nami? We don't always have to fight. Sometimes music is better." He then turned to the majestic creature. "Thanks, big guy. We're gonna save Atlantis. You hear me?" The Guardian seemed to dip its head slightly, then resumed its silent patrol, disappearing back into the shadowy depths of the vestibule. With a final surge of Frankie's thrusters, guided by Nami's precise steering and Robin's orb, the Thousand Sunny glided smoothly through the glowing portal. The light intensified, washing over them in waves of cerulean and gold. "We're in," Luffy shouted, pressing his hands against the glass, his face practically glued to the dome. Beyond, the portal lay in sight that stole their breath away. It wasn't just a city. It was a sprawling, incandescent metropolis, built into and around enormous, glowing crystal formations. Buildings of shimmering, translucent materials rose towards a central, towering spire that pulsed with an internal light. Bioluminescent flora bloomed in impossible gardens, and strange, graceful aquatic beings, both familiar and utterly alien, swam through illuminated channels that served as streets. The water itself seemed clearer, brighter, sustaining a vibrant ecosystem unlike anything on the surface. This was it. The fabled lost city of Atlantis. "So appear," Frankie yelled, tears welling in his cybernetic eyes. "Unbelievable," Nami whispered, her eyes wide with uncharacteristic awe, even forgetting about treasure for a moment. Robin merely smiled, a profound understanding in her gaze. "The legend spoke of true beauty," she murmured. But even they could not capture this. The Thousand Sunny slowly descended into the heart of this underwater marvel, a beacon of surface life entering a world long forgotten. The adventure had truly begun. The cozy familiarity of their ship, surrounded by the alien grandeur of Atlantis, created a surreal, breathtaking moment. The whispers from the deep had led them to a place beyond imagination, and the secrets of the lost city awaited them. The Thousand Sunny settled gently onto a massive, iridescent landing platform in the very heart of Atlantis. The platform, smooth as polished glass, was flanked by towering spires that pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic light, illuminating the surrounding cityscape. The water here was not murky or oppressive but clear and vibrant, filled with schools of glowing fish that darted around the sunny like inquisitive sprites. The crew emerged onto the deck, gazing around in stunned silence. The air inside the city's vast dome felt fresh and breathable, hinting at advanced life support systems. The sheer scale and beauty of Atlantis were overwhelming. Buildings of crystalline structures spiraled upwards, adorned with intricate, glowing etchings. Gardens of bioluminescent flora blossomed in every conceivable hue, casting an otherworldly glow. And everywhere there was the subtle hum, the city's omnipresent song. Unbelievable, Nami whispered, her navigation skills momentarily forgotten in favor of pure wonder. Even her berry eyes were replaced by wide, starry ones. This is truly super, Frankie declared, doing a small, awestruck pose. Look, a giant mushroom, Chopper exclaimed, pointing at a massive, glowing, coral-like structure that resembled an enormous, iridescent fungi. Is it medicinal? Or poisonous? Don't eat it, Chopper, Usopp warned, still clutching him, though his fear had given way to unbridled curiosity. It could turn you into a glow-in-the-dark reindeer. Sanji, however, was already in raptures. The aroma. It's unlike anything I've ever encountered. A symphony of aquatic delights. Oh, the culinary possibilities. Luffy, as always, was completely unburdened by awe, replaced by pure, infectious excitement. This place is so cool. Let's explore. He tried to bound off the ship but was stopped by Robin. Wait, Captain San, she said gently, her eyes scanning the surroundings. We are in an unfamiliar land. It would be wise to observe first. As if on cue, graceful figures began to emerge from the crystalline buildings. They were humanoid, but their skin shimmered with a faint, internal luminescence, and their eyes were large, dark, and filled with an ancient wisdom. Their movements were fluid, perfectly adapted to the watery environment, almost like merfolk, yet distinct. They wore garments woven from glowing seaweed and iridescent shells. There, the Atlanteans, Usopp whispered, shrinking back slightly. Jinbe stepped forward, a respectful bow, his large frame radiating calm. Greetings. We are the Straw Hat Pirates, visitors from the surface world. We mean you no harm. We were guided here by an ancient artifact. He gestured towards the orb in Robin's hand, which pulsed gently. One of the Atlanteans, a woman whose glow was brighter than the others, with an aura of authority, glided forward. Her voice, though unheard by surface dwellers directly, resonated in their minds, a telepathic murmur that was surprisingly soothing. Surface dwellers, it has been eons since your kind graced our city. You are welcome, for you bear the Whisper Stone, the key to our forgotten past. I am Lyra, Archivist of Atlantis. Why have you come? Robin stepped forward, holding the orb aloft. We came seeking knowledge, the legends of a lost civilization. We found this orb, which showed us the path here. The Whisper Stone has chosen you, Lyra responded. Its light has dimmed for centuries. Its awakening brings us both hope and trepidation. Her luminous eyes swept over the crew, lingering on Brook. And you, Bonesman, your song, it echoes an ancient lament. Lyra led them through the city. The Atlanteans, or Luminkin as they called themselves, were a peaceful, curious people. They showed no fear, only a profound interest in their surface visitors. The city itself was a marvel of symbiotic technology and nature. Water flowed through transparent conduits, providing energy and sustenance. The very air they breathed seemed to be generated by the immense central crystal they called the Heartstone, which pulsed with a magnificent, deep blue glow, radiating warmth and light throughout the entire city. However, as they observed, the Straw Hats noticed something amiss. While beautiful, the Heartstone's light seemed to flicker intermittently, its hum occasionally faltering. Many of the Luminkin seemed subdued, their internal glow a little fainter. The Heartstone, it seems to be weakening, doesn't it? Chopper murmured, observing with his keen medical eye. Their glow isn't as vibrant as it should be. You perceive correctly, small doctor, Lyra's voice resonated in their minds, confirming their suspicions. The Heartstone, the very source of our city's light, life, and protection, has been slowly fading for many cycles. We have tried everything within our ancient knowledge, but its vitality diminishes each passing moment. We believe its light will soon extinguish, and with it Atlantis. Luffy, ever direct, didn't hesitate. Then we'll help you fix it, he declared, grinning. We're pirates, but we're good at fixing things. Especially Frankie. So up here. We'll fix it right up. Frankie thumped his chest. The Luminkin were initially skeptical. They were an ancient race, proud of their self-sufficiency. But the Straw Hats' sincerity and the undeniable fact that the Whisper Stone, a relic of their deepest past, had led them here, swayed Lyra. "All right, everyone," Nami barked, already in command mode. "What do we need to do? Robin, what does your orb say? Frankie, what's wrong with this giant crystal? Chopper, can you medically assess it?" Robin concentrated on the Whisper Stone. Its holographic projection now showed intricate diagrams of the Heartstone's energy pathways and historical texts written in an ancient Atlantean script. It seems the Heartstone draws its energy not just from natural geothermic vents, but also from a unique resonance, a specific frequency of sound or music, and a biological nutrient found only in the deepest parts of the Grand Abyss. This resonance was maintained through an ancient pact, a song of life, with a creature of immense power. And this specific nutrient, it must be administered directly to the Heartstone's core. "The song of life," Lyra murmured, her luminous eyes wide. "We had forgotten that part of the ritual. The whispers of the stone have become too faint for our ears to discern the melody. So we need a special song and some special juice for the giant crystal." Luffy summarized. Easy peasy. The crew immediately sprung into action, each member utilizing their unique skills. Frankie teamed up with the Luminkin engineers to examine the Heartstone's vast energy conduits. He discovered that several critical junctions were corroding, causing energy leakage. "This is a superstructural integrity problem," he announced, already pulling out his tools and incorporating Atlantean tech into his own designs. He began fabricating replacement parts from reinforced atom wood and specialized deep-sea metals. Chopper, with Lyra's guidance, analyzed the Heartstone's vital signs. He found that its crystalline structure was slowly degenerating due to a lack of vital trace minerals. He then set about identifying these minerals and, using knowledge from both surface and Atlantean medicine, formulated a concentrated nutrient solution for the Heartstone. This required venturing into unstable, deep-sea mineral caverns with Jinbe. Usopp, his keen eyes and inventive mind were invaluable. He helped Frankie design and build a complex sonar frequency emitter that could amplify and direct Brook's music into the Heartstone. He also created new types of pop-green, luminescent flares to illuminate hard-to-reach areas for repairs. Sanji not only provided constant nourishment and morale-boosting meals for the working crew but also, with Lyra's permission, began experimenting with the unique bioluminescent flora and fauna of Atlantis, creating dishes that revitalized the weary Luminkin and even, experimentally, the Heartstone itself by infusing Chopper's nutrient solution into specific energy fruits they found. Nami used Robin's expanded map from the Whisper Stone and Jinbe's deep-sea knowledge to chart the most stable and efficient paths through the volatile mineral caverns for Chopper and Jinbe. She also helped organize the Luminkin, setting up an efficient system for resource gathering and communication, impressing them with her leadership. Zoro stood guard. The weakening Heartstone meant the city's protective barrier against deep-sea predators was diminishing. He scouted the outer perimeter, occasionally having to repel monstrous, tentacled creatures drawn by the city's vulnerability, often with a casual, nothing-to-worry-about attitude. Luffy. His boundless energy and optimism were infectious. He rallied the Luminkin, helping them with heavy lifting, sometimes too much, requiring Frankie to intervene, and his simple, unwavering belief that they could save Atlantis was a powerful morale booster. He also personally ensured Sanji always had a steady supply of exotic Atlantean ingredients for his culinary experiments. Jinbe, his profound knowledge of the ocean, its currents, and its creatures was indispensable. He guided Chopper through the dangerous mineral caverns, his fishman karate protecting them from unseen dangers. He also acted as a bridge between the Straw Hats and the Luminkin, explaining customs and helping communication flow smoothly. Robin, her research into the ancient Atlantean texts became the core of their efforts. She deciphered the exact Song of Life ritual, identifying the precise musical notes, frequencies, and vocalizations required to re-establish the Heartstone's resonance. She also discovered ancient writings detailing the biological makeup of the special nutrient fruits for Chopper. Brook, he was the ultimate key. As Robin translated the Song of Life, Brook began to practice, adapting the ancient, resonant melodies to his violin and his vocal range. The song was complex, filled with melancholic beauty and soaring hope, a true challenge even for his experienced musicianship. Days turned into a week of intense, coordinated effort. Frankie's workshop hummed with activity as he worked tirelessly with the looming kin engineers, their combined knowledge leading to innovative solutions. Chopper and Jinbe returned, exhausted but triumphant, with enough precious minerals and nutrient fruits to create a potent elixir. Usopp's sonar emitters were calibrated perfectly, ready to broadcast Brook's music. Finally, the moment came for the ritual of resonance. The entire crew gathered around the base of the massive heartstone. The Luminkin watched with bated breath, their faint glows flickering with hope. Lyra explained the ancient prophecy, when the heartstone's light is lowest, a song from another world, guided by the ancient Whisperstone, shall awaken its dormant power. Robin nodded to Brook. The ancient texts say the song must resonate with the core frequency of the heartstone and be accompanied by the life-giving essence. Usopp activated his amplified sonic emitters, aimed directly at the heartstone. Frankie connected a series of glowing conduits that would deliver Chopper's nutrient solution. Brook took a deep breath, or rather, a skeletal imitation of one. Yo-ho-ho! For the future of Atlantis. A skeletal serenade. He raised his violin, and a hush fell over the vast chamber. The first notes were low, resonant, almost a hum, echoing the heartstone's own weakening pulse. Brook's bow danced across the strings, weaving a melody that was both ancient and deeply soulful, a blend of sorrow for what was lost and hope for what could be rekindled. As he played, the Whisperstone in Robin's hand glowed intensely, its light pulsing in perfect synchronicity with the music, amplifying the resonance. As Brook reached a powerful crescendo, Frankie activated the nutrient delivery system. A stream of Chopper's luminous, blue-green elixir surged through the conduits, directly into the heartstone's core. Suddenly, the heartstone shuddered. Its flickering light dimmed almost to nothing, and a wave of silent despair rippled through the looming kin. "It's failing," Lyra cried, her glow almost gone. "Not on my watch," Luffy roared. He sprang forward, punching the air. Geomu no? Gatling. His fists, imbued with armament haki, began to pummel the air around the heartstone, not attacking it, but creating a powerful, rhythmic percussive force that vibrated through the chamber, providing a physical beat that matched Brook's song. Zoro, seeing Luffy's unconventional yet effective tactic, joined in, drawing his swords and performing a series of precise, powerful cuts that displaced the water around the heartstone, creating complementary pressure waves. "It needs more energy," Frankie yelled, diverting power from his own body. "Super!" Usopp frantically recalibrated his emitters, blasting the precise frequency. Sanji and Jinbe, seeing the crisis, used their powerful kicks and fishman karate to send shockwaves through the water, adding to the resonance. Nami directed them, her navigational instincts now applied to energy flow. Suddenly, a cacophony of screeching sounds began to emanate from the city's perimeter. The weakened barrier had given way, and grotesque, multi-eyed deep-sea predators, drawn by the heartstone's instability, were breaching the city. "Zoro-san! Luffy-san!" Jinbe warned. "The Guardians are failing." Luffy, still pulsing the air around the heartstone, didn't even look. "Usopp, Chopper, Frankie, keep that song going. We'll handle this." Zoro, with a grim determination, peeled away, meeting the first wave of creatures with his blades flashing in the ethereal light. "Santoryu Oji, Sanzen Sekai," he bellowed, a torrent of powerful slashes cutting through the monstrous forms. Luffy continued to pour his energy into resonating with the heartstone, trusting his crew implicitly. Brook's music soared, amplified by Usopp's emitters, interwoven with Luffy's percussive force and the physical power of the others. The heartstone began to pulse, slowly at first, then with increasing strength. The luminous elixir infused into its core seemed to be working in concert with the ancient melody. With a final, ringing chord from Brook's violin, a powerful wave of light burst forth from the heartstone, washing over Atlantis. The flickering stopped. The hum returned, stronger and steadier than before. The city glowed with renewed vibrancy. The looming kin, whose own internal light had almost faded, flared to life, their bodies radiating a joyous, healthy glow. The deep-sea predators, suddenly bathed in the brilliant light and repelled by the renewed barrier, screeched in agony and retreated back into the darkness. Zoro sheathed his swords, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. Atlantis was saved. A profound silence descended, broken only by the Heartstone's steady, magnificent hum. Then, a collective cheer erupted from the looming kin, their telepathic voices resonating with overwhelming gratitude. They swarmed the Straw Hats, their luminous hands gently touching them in thanks. "You have done what generations of Atlanteans could not," Lyra's voice pulsed with deep emotion. "You have restored the song of life. You are truly the prophecy's chosen ones." The next few days were a blur of celebration and shared knowledge. The looming kin, now fully revitalized, were eager to reciprocate the Straw Hats' kindness. They shared their advanced technology with Frankie, helping him refine the Sunny's deep-sea capabilities even further, granting him schematics for self-repairing hull materials and silent propulsion systems. They revealed ancient remedies and unique plant species to Chopper, broadening his medical horizons beyond imagination. Sanji was given access to the deepest, most exotic Atlantean culinary ingredients, promising a feast unlike any other upon their return to the surface. Nami received ancient Atlantean star charts, capable of charting currents and celestial bodies previously thought impossible, opening up entirely new navigation possibilities. Robin discovered ancient poneglyphs within the city's archives, detailing not just Atlantean history but also connections to the Void Century and the ancient weapons, providing invaluable insights into the world's greatest mysteries. Even Zoro found a unique, pressure-forged blade material, tougher than steel, though he mostly used it to sharpen his existing swords. Brook received a gift of an ethereal, resonant wood from a deep-sea tree, perfect for crafting a new, even more soulful violin. Luffy, of course, was simply happy to have made new friends and experienced an incredible adventure. He spent his time exploring the city, playing games with the younger looming kin, and of course, eating everything Sanji could cook. When it was finally time to depart, the farewell was heartfelt. The looming kin gathered on the landing platform, their luminous bodies forming a glowing farewell committee. Lyra placed a small, shimmering shell into Robin's hand. "This is a fragment of the Heartstone's resonance," she communicated. "Should you ever need us, or we you, its pulse will guide you back to Atlantis." Luffy grinned. "Thanks for everything. We'll come back and visit again someday. Promise." With a final, booming SUUPRRR from Frankie, the Thousand Sunny lifted off the platform, its new propulsion systems silent and powerful. It ascended through the crystalline spires of Atlantis, bathed in the Heartstone's magnificent glow, leaving the restored city shimmering below. The journey back to the surface was quieter, filled with reflection. The crew members sorted through their new treasures, shared their new knowledge, and discussed the wonders they had seen. The cozy familiarity of the Sunny now felt even more comforting after their plunge into the alien depths. As the Thousand Sunny finally breached the surface, breaking through the shimmering veil of the Grand Abyss, the familiar sunlight felt warm and welcoming. The gentle breeze ruffled their hair, and the vast, open ocean stretched before them once more. "We did it!" Luffy cheered, stretching luxuriously on the deck. "We went to Atlantis." Nami spread out her new Atlantean charts, a triumphant smile on her face. "And we have enough new information to discover a dozen more islands." Sanji hummed, already planning his next culinary masterpiece with his unique ingredients. Chopper was deep in a new medical textbook, taking notes. Frankie was in his workshop, already incorporating his new tech into the Sunny. Zoro was, inevitably, asleep. Brook was humming a new melody, inspired by the Song of Life. Jinbe simply smiled, gazing at the horizon, a new appreciation for the vastness of the world, above and below, in his wise eyes. Robin held the Whisperstone orb and the Heartstone fragment, their combined glow a gentle reminder of the ancient city they had saved. "The world truly holds endless mysteries," she murmured, "and we are here to uncover them." The Straw Hats, having embraced the cozy comfort of their home at sea and the thrilling adventure of the unknown, sailed on, ready for whatever the Grand Line or the deep might throw at them next. The whispers from the deep had led them to Atlantis, and now, with new knowledge, new strength, and new friends, their quest for adventure continued, boundless as the ocean itself.